The keys to my new home felt oddly heavy in my hand as I unlocked the front door for the first time as a homeowner. After years of renting tiny apartments in the city, I'd finally saved enough for a down payment on a modest three-bedroom house in Willow Grove Estates, a tidy suburban neighborhood with tree-lined streets and well-kept lawns that seemed to whisper, "You've arrived." The real estate agent had raved about the community's stellar reputation, top-notch school district, and the added security of an owner-managed association. "No overflowing trash cans or rusty cars on blocks here," she'd said with a confident smile. I'd nodded, convinced the slightly steeper mortgage was a fair trade for the peace of mind that came with order and consistency. The homeowner association fees felt reasonable for perks like a community pool, a small gym, and a freshly updated clubhouse right across from my new place. The first 3 days of moving in were a whirlwind of unpacking boxes, pizza runs, and endless trips to the moving truck. By Thursday night, I'd settled the essentials. My bedroom was livable, the kitchen functional enough for coffee, and my home office ready for Monday's Zoom calls. The living room, though, was still a mess, with furniture shoved around as I tried to figure out the best setup. While dragging my couch for the third time, aiming for the perfect TV angle, I glanced out the big picture window, a major selling point, and spotted something glinting on the clubhouse across the street. As dusk fell and the exterior lights blinked on, it became clear. A small, dome-shaped security camera sat under the eaves of the building's second floor. At first, I shrugged it off. Cameras in shared spaces made sense in a place that valued safety. But as night deepened, an uneasy feeling crept in. During one of my casual glances outside, I noticed the camera wasn't aimed at the clubhouse entrance or parking lot like I'd assumed. It was pointed straight at my house, right at the window I stood behind. A chill hit me despite the warm spring air. I shifted around the living room, watching the camera's tiny red light. It seemed to track me, the lens twitching slightly. "No way," I muttered, brushing off the knot in my stomach. To test it, I stepped out of sight, then darted back. The lens adjusted again, refocusing. My pulse quickened. This wasn't some basic security cam. It was motion tracking, and it was locked on my living space. Sleep barely came that night. I'd pulled the curtains, thankfully left by the previous owners, but knowing that camera was out there gnawed at me. I tried to reason it away. Maybe it was temporary or tied to some issue with the last owner. Friday morning, I decided to meet my neighbors before making a fuss. The older couple next door, the Hendersons, had already dropped off a welcome basket when I moved in. They'd lived in Willow Grove since it was built 15 years ago. Over coffee on their patio, I casually brought up the clubhouse cameras. "Oh, those went up about 3 months back after some vandalism at the pool," Mrs. Henderson said. There was a big debate at the association meeting. I asked why one might be aimed at homes instead of the clubhouse. Mr. Henderson frowned. "That's not right. The plan was to watch common areas only." "Are you sure?" I explained what I'd seen, and they shared a look I couldn't read. "Take it up with the board," Mrs. Henderson suggested. "Especially with Mrs. Carter. She heads the security committee and pushed for the upgrades." Later, I chatted with my other neighbor, Sarah, a single mom with 2 young kids. She was just as shocked. "That's creepy," she said, frowning. "The board's gotten stricter since the new members took over last year, but watching homes is too far." By Sunday, my living room was finally sorted, but my excitement about the house had faded. Every pass by the window reminded me of that camera. I tested it again, closing the curtains, turning off the lights, and peeking through a tiny gap with my phone's flashlight. The lens zoomed in on that exact spot. This wasn't security, it was targeted surveillance. Sleep escaped me again as I dug into homeowner association rules and state privacy laws online. The Willow Grove Covenant allowed security in common areas, but a state law from 2 years ago banned monitoring private spaces without consent, windows included. Monday, I called in sick and spent the day snapping photos of the camera from different angles, using a laser measurer to confirm it was 62 feet from my window, close enough for clear detail. That afternoon, my welcome packet arrived, listing board contacts and announcing a meeting Wednesday at 7 p.m. In the clubhouse, a brochure boasted about enhanced security measures with a photo of Mrs. Carter, the association president, next to a camera. A newsletter noted the system was installed just 2 weeks before I moved in. Odd timing. Tuesday, I prepped for the meeting, printing laws and photos. On the resident portal, I found security committee notes hinting at targeted surveillance for problem properties. Was my house one? The prior owners, an older couple, had moved to be near grandkids. Nothing suspicious there. Wednesday, an association email welcomed me, suggesting my IT background, unmentioned to anyone, could help the security committee. Someone had dug into me. That evening, I walked to the meeting, the camera tracking me as I crossed the street. About 20 residents sat in folding chairs, with Mrs. Carter and 4 board members up front. She ran the meeting smoothly until her security update. I raised my hand. Yes, the new resident at 1482 Elm Street, she said coolly, eyeing my badge. I've noticed a camera on the clubhouse aimed at my living room window, I said. It tracks movement inside. I'm worried about privacy. Silence. A board member, Mr. Daniels, snapped. It's for security. If you've got nothing to hide, it's fine. I stayed calm. It's not about hiding. It's about privacy. It sees into my home. Mrs. Carter's smile thinned. The system's approved and within our covenant. Close your curtains if it bothers you. A few residents shifted awkwardly. I pressed on, citing state law over the covenant. The room tensed. Mrs. Carter snapped that I'd agreed to the rules. Mr. Daniels hinted I didn't fit if I disliked it. I sat down, noting nods from neighbors. This was bigger than a camera. It was about control. Afterward, a woman, Emily Torres from Birch Lane, approached. That took guts, she whispered. The board's been overstepping, but people fear fines or harassment. She mentioned a neighbor who'd questioned pool hours and got hit with violations. Mr. Daniels interrupted, warning me not to stir trouble. Emily covered, saying she'd show me the trails. At home, I drafted a letter to the board, citing laws and demanding the camera move, delivering it the next day. By noon, Mrs. Carter called, summoning me to her clubhouse office at 4 p.m. I prepped with court cases on privacy wins. Her office was small, her desk oversized, a power play. She claimed I'd misunderstood security needs, citing break-ins. I countered that my living room wasn't a community entry. She dismissed my cases, saying the camera stayed. I gave her a week before I'd escalate legally. She warned I'd regret challenging them, hinting my house had history. Soon, petty violations hit. A $50 fine for trash bins, then mailbox issues, both baseless. Emily got one too after talking to me. I documented everything. A week passed, no camera change, just more notices. I filed with the State Privacy Commission, detailing surveillance and retaliation. An emergency meeting was called, demanding my attendance. I submitted my complaint just before, case SPC 203-4872 assigned. Next day, another violation, water usage, arrived. I dug deeper, learning Mr. Daniels had bid low on my house before I bought it. He and Mrs. Carter were partners in Greenview Development, eyeing my area for a strip mall. At the meeting, I brought allies, Emily, David Chun, and Laura Hayes, exposing their plans. The committee voted to pause violations and adjust cameras. A crew moved them the next morning. Greenview offered to buy my house, but I installed my own cameras instead. The Privacy Commission fast-tracked my case, inspecting soon after. Mrs. Carter claimed ignorance, but investigator Paul Harris confirmed violations. I sent a cease and desist letter. Residents rallied. A reporter, Anna Lee, exposed Greenview's pattern. At a packed meeting, residents demanded audits and transparency. Mrs. Carter threatened me, but the commission fined the association $15,000, ordering reforms. She and Mr. Daniels resigned amid charges. New elections brought a transparent board with Emily and David. Greenview folded, and Willow Grove thrived, private, united, and reformed. From one camera, a community was reborn.